Hi folks, I'm Nate with Two Guys a Ride, and today Rob and I are out here on this beautiful, gorgeous day with Alan, and we are at the Good Guys 31st Speedway Motors Heartland Nationals in Des Moines, Iowa. And oh man, I fell in love with this again when I came by it. So Alan, tell us what we have back here.
So we got a 1967 Series 2 Land Rover. I'm the second owner.
Wait a minute. A 67 and you're the second owner.
Yep.
That's got to be rare.
I think so. I came across this. A set of brothers bought a set in 67 and 69, and I had to buy them both. They wouldn't split them.
They wouldn't split them, okay?
They wouldn't split them, so I got a 69 as well. And so it's a kind of a fun little adventure we're on.
Now, obviously, now the other one would have had the lights out here because that's the year that they split them. That's interesting.
Yep.
Now, you can't help but notice that you've got a lock on the front grille. So either you're trying to prevent someone from taking your grille, or it's to lock your hood down.
Well, I understood it was because they have a lock on the hood, because you can jump in and get them started.
Right.
There's no safety features, and then there's a lock on the fuel cap as well, and then there's a compartment under the seat. So very interesting. You know, they have just a little swivel on them, but they're unique, and we try to keep them original.
I absolutely love it. Now, it does have a gas motor.
Gas motor,
because
yes.
they did have some diesels too. All right, so that's got the gas motor. And can we take a lift it open? And I love, by the way, the spare tire on the hood.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the motor, especially that interesting air filter too.
So the motor is a 2.25 liter. It's what they had from 1957 all the way till 72.
Okay.
Same engine. It's got a oil bath breather coming in. I replaced the carburetor just because the old carburetor.
Yeah, that looks a little newer than the rest of the engine.
Yeah, it's the only thing new pretty much on it because I just couldn't get it to seal up anymore, so it's sucking a lot of air. But and I actually replaced the radiator too. I have the original with the original serial numbers on it, but and it was about 5 inches wide. But they couldn't get it. They couldn't fix it. I still have it, but it was going to cost a couple $1,000s to fix it, and this one here was $350 right from Land Rover. So the really neat thing is you can still buy all the parts from Land Rover.
Right, you were saying you can actually go to a Land Rover dealer and order a lot, if not most of the parts. There were a lot of them made, boy. Okay, so other than that, you really haven't had to do any mechanical work.
I haven't touched it.
Not engine-wise.
Not engine-wise, no.
Okay, anything done to the suspension?
I put new shocks on it and rebuilt the front end for the seals and the ball joints. Okay. Because they were leaking.
And if you've never seen the ball joints on the, we'll show you a picture of it, but they are very unique. But that's part of its off-road capabilities. Yeah, I mean, it's just very, very interesting. Let's walk down the side for a minute here. Now, you had manually locking front hubs.
Warren hubs came from the factory.
Okay, but the rear you could lock from inside.
You can go into, no, you can't lock them in, but you can go to super low. So when you go to 4 low, it goes all 4 in one.
Okay.
Locked together, differential. So.
Oh man, tell us a little bit about this. I believe the Safari roof.
Yep, Safari roof was designed to keep the sun off the passenger roof. Okay. Off the cargo roof. It has 4 vents. There's also the extra height in it too, so that allows air to get through and allows the sun to hit the top and not the cab.
And then it would heat up, and the idea is the heat would dissipate.
Air would go through there.
But then you would still have the 4 air vents inside that you could pull open.
1967 air conditioning.
That's beautiful. Well, most of the countries these went to, this was built for the U.S. market.
Yes.
But a lot of the countries they sold it were hot and more tropical. So
absolutely.
And hence why Land Rover had that. I love the sliding windows. Now, would there have originally been a handle on the inside or not on these?
No, they have so on these, come around this way. So these close, and then your lock is up here.
Okay.
To lock it.
So then when they're, and you just use that front little piece here to open it.
Yep. And it just
so never any actual handles on them.
Not that I could find.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
Okay. We'll get back to the inside in a minute here. Tell us about this, because you actually have a soft top for this.
I have a soft top and a cargo rack for this one as well.
So you can unbolt
Yep.
this part, they all come off kind of as one.
Oh, it's one. Yep.
Okay, and then you had like pick a bed stakes.
Yep.
That
They would
round.
Yep, round. Yep.
Yep. And then you had a tarp that would go over that, and you actually have all those pieces.
I have all those pieces I got from the original owners. Yep.
Man, so now I understand when you bought it, you got one of those rare deals where you got a few spare parts in it.
Yeah, I got about $4,000 worth of spare parts. Like 10 crates of spare parts.
Wow.
So, which is really cool.
But isn't that nice that they throw them in because they know that you'll need them anyways? They want shows that they cared about the vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the back here, you had another spare tire mount on the rear door.
Yep.
Okay, and you didn't have. Now this one, when I remember them, they had a jerry can mount in the rear.
Yep.
On the sides.
And I don't believe this one doesn't have it.
Okay. Because one side would have like a jerry can, the other side would have a ladder.
Yep.
If you had the roof rack on top.
Yep.
Okay.
This one came with the original toolbox.
Oh, look at that. And the original tools?
Yeah, and the original tools.
Ah.
Let me get this stuff out of the way here. So if it's got a machete in there, a trenching tool.
A machete as an original tool. You gotta love it.
The old jack, crank screw jack.
Yep.
And,
I remember those.
And then it has, do you remember they used to do PTO? Can come out
the
of
back, sure. Because they were originally built as a farm vehicle.
Yep.
Oh, man. Now, is the vinyl on the floor? Yeah, that's what they would have had there.
I assume that's what they would have had.
Okay.
That's probably not original.
And then you had the jump seats.
Yep. But it's, it's
you got a good wooden floor underneath, steel floor.
Yep, jump seats on this one, and my 69 has bench seats.
Okay, still fold down, but there's a bench.
Down,
so
yep.
These were the four. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
7-seater.
7-seater and a 2-door. I mean, think about that for a minute. Wow. Oh, I do remember the door handles, the levers at the top here to pull to open. Oh my gosh! So at some point, either you or the brothers before you restored the.
We did the vinyl.
Okay.
Tried to go to the original color.
Okay.
Because it was really weather checked.
Okay.
And it was just not usable.
And that was the original color.
Original color, yep. Marine blue.
Man.
What they were.
I always love it when there's original things with a car with that toolbox. I don't know that I've ever seen one of those.
It was.
And all the Land Rovers I've been in, it was probably chucked out. The owner probably put it somewhere else because they wanted the space for passengers. But,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What's cool is the seats will actually fold down.
With that still in place. Oh, look at that.
With that.
So, I mean, that was actually designed to fold down with that in place. Isn't that interesting? I mean, makes sense, but the ones I always saw had that removed. Huh. Tell us a little bit about, you got a step plate here. You also have a step plate on either side.
Just on the passenger side.
Oh, it's on the, okay, just on the passenger side.
On the back side, yep. And then there's several different options for hitches.
Mm-hmm.
When you go and look through the research, some have a ball, some have a single, some have a double. So I suppose it's whatever they needed
for their work,
for their application.
Yep. I do like the steps though.
Yeah.
And the tow bars. I don't know if they would hook to here to tow, or you probably would hook somewhere down
probably
there.
Probably somewhere in here, but
at least you could step up on there.
Mm-hmm.
I just love those lights. Those are just class, which I love on the new Defender.
Yeah.
That they went back to those lines, and the interior, it to some extent it harkens back to older Land Rovers. Okay, there's the locking gas tank. You gotta love that. These door handles.
Yeah.
I remember going, those are really unique. When you pulled up on them, I just thought that was so interesting on the Land Rovers.
You can lock the driver's side, this side, with the key. But this side you have to lock from the inside.
Okay, and no key on that one.
No key on the passenger side.
Walk us through, the interior. It is original.
All original. Okay. As far as we know. So you got the regular gear shifter.
Mm-hmm.
So then this is your high-low.
Okay.
For 4-speed high, 4-speed low. In order to get into 4 low, you have to push down on the yellow handle, and then pull this back to 4 low.
So just a little bit of.
Yeah. So
it wasn't shift on the fly.
And you can't shift on the fly. And now this one here has overdrive. So they didn't have very many that have overdrive. So when you're doing about 50, you shift into overdrive and you can go about 65.
Okay, much more comfortable
And
than
you
you
can
would
stay
otherwise.
in overdrive all the way back down. But usually I get down around 40, I shift it back down into regular drive.
The gas pedal is just an interestingly shaped item. What in the world? I mean, all gas pedals have accelerators have a stop point, right? I mean, I guess that was just an older, more mechanical.
Just mechanical right to the carburetor.
Yeah.
Yeah, right to it, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Your heater, it looks like they put new hoses on at some point because they were probably the old cloth covered ones, you know. But you got defrost and you got three positions you can do it, but it's a manual from heater to exhaust.
Okay.
And then the actual fan controls.
And these were the defrosters.
Defrosters, yep. Still has the mechanical, electric, turn your wiper on right here.
And each one was separate.
Each one's separate.
So you could run one or the other or both.
Or if it fails, you can do it by hand. So.
And then these were to what?
Those are your front vents.
Okay, open and close the front vents.
Yep.
And then you got 3 push buttons by the steering wheel just to the right.
Yep.
What were those?
So this here is actually how you turn your lights on.
Okay.
And then this is your lights for the dash lights.
Okay.
And the other one where you can turn on your tail lights only.
Okay. What about the 3 silver knobs by the steering wheel?
So that's your top one is your temp control to open and close your valve for your heater. The other one, heater is one's the fan control and one's the heat control for down here.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the switch on the far left, that's for the light on the back of the Land Rover.
Tell us about the emergency brake.
Yeah, so the emergency brake on these is really unique. It actually is a band clamp on the drive shaft.
So you could theoretically lose your brakes and still
stop your vehicle.
still stop your vehicle.
Yep.
Clever. So, you know, Alan, you've got 2 Land Rovers.
I do.
And you've had to do minor repairs, really, compared to for their year and their age. But, you know, for someone else getting into this, any advice you'd throw out their way?
Before you get into any car is make sure there's parts available.
Okay.
Right? And then understand that there is a huge cost commitment, right? Because every time you start working on something, you find something else.
That isn't.
Right? And I think that happens to a lot of cars, no matter what you get into, is you start and then it's a do-it-yourselfer, then it turns into it's in the garage because we can't afford to do it.
Right. Right.
And I think that happens a lot. And, you know, fortunately, I haven't had to put a lot of money in it. But I think, you know, and I think I'm going to try to keep them original as I can. You know, I mean, the original color, the original paint. These are aluminum skins.
These are all aluminum.
And they have a metal frame.
So really the only frame is the only thing you have to worry about for...
And you can get a new chassis for $3,600 from Land Rover.
Really?
Which is like really
ridiculous.
Cheap. Yep. But yeah, the skins, you can still buy the skins, but they're aluminum skins. And I love the patina on aluminum. You know, it's certainly different than the old steel frames.
And I love the story on this. Was 2 brothers, and they didn't want the cars separated, and they saw them. That's just awesome. So, what is one of your favorite memories with these Land Rovers?
Since I've owned them, is really just to go to shows like this and share the story. Is probably the most important part. My wife and I recently retired, and we want to do more of this. And meeting folks like you guys that allow us to share our story is the important part. Because I think storytelling, no matter if you're a veteran or a Native American, is part of your culture, and you should share those stories.
Yeah.
In car collecting, people need to share their stories.
Isn't that true? And we like hearing those, and we like sharing them.
Yep.
So, well, Alan, thank you so much for taking your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for watching.